When you have no choice but to sell your wares in the midst of filth. That is the story of traders at the Accra Central Market, the Makola Market. In this piece, Justin Crabb engages the traders who fear for their health and that of their customers as heaps of rubbish in their shops continue to affect their sales.
Welcome to the Makola Market. Like any other major market in Ghana, the shouts of traders are in different pitches and tones. Mix somewhat a medley. Pleasant or not, I'll leave that to your taste. In their defense, however, this must be done to attract the attention of shoppers to their wares. Another distinct feature of this market is the heaps of garbage in front of shops, a comfortable home for flies and birds. Though they sell in it, the traders fear it could affect their health and that of their customers.
Every time we visit our shops, rubbish is scattered all over. We leave our belongings, sweep around, and gather them to the refuse dump. But by the time we are done sweeping, customers would have already gone to buy from other vendors.
Rubbish has been gathering here for several days. We complain about it. Money is being taken from us, yet we see no improvement. Traders sit in the field, some selling mangoes and foodstuff, which are not hygienic for our health.
But who throws the rubbish here?
Some people do not help us to keep the market clean. Even well-educated people come here to dump refuse.
Getting city authorities to help has been unsuccessful.
The government has instructed Sum Lion to collect this rubbish, but they complain that the allowances paid are not enough. So they refuse to sweep the market and it becomes full of rubbish.
Customers hesitate to buy from them.
Imagine this heap of rubbish gathered in front of my foodstuff and a customer wants to buy. This heap of rubbish is what welcomes the customer. The customer ends up not buying from us. The bad odor alone keeps the customer away. We plead with the government to work hand in hand with Sum Lion so that the heap of rubbish will be collected.
Until the heap of rubbish is cleared, Accra's Central Market remains a disharmony of shouts from traders, the honking of cars laced with a stink from rubbish. For Joy News, Justin Crabb's report read to you.
Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Mary Ada, says government has not put in maximum efforts to fight corruption in the country. According to her, most anti-corruption agencies tasked to help curb the menace are woefully under-resourced, which is resulting in underperformance. Mary Ada was speaking on Newsfile.
Put in inputs, something we expect to achieve outputs. And so if these inputs are positive, we are expecting positive outputs. And so if you have resourced the agencies, then it means something is wrong somewhere. Either our anti-corruption institutions are not working as they should. I am also informing you, for instance, for Shrine, until recently, they didn't even have district offices everywhere across the country, until recently. And most of the others do not. So, and then when you go to some of these offices, the sorry nature of them, they lack resources, they lack staff. The resourcing is money and staff as well. Shrine at the headquarters level is also struggling. And so whether we have given more than any other is besides the point. What we are talking about is if you have put in more, it should be evidenced by the outputs we are making. We see rhetoric on putting in more. We see budgets on putting in more. However, when it comes to the actual disbursements, I was on another platform with the Deputy Attorney General, and he indicated no institution has enough resources to operate. And so what the government has done is more than enough. That is true, that no institution has adequate resources to operate, and we are talking about where we are coming from. So for this government to continue to say that they have given more resources than any other, then it means they need to put in some very stringent KPIs.
National Communications Officer of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, Sammy Gyamfi, was of the view that Ghana's performance on the recent Corruption Perception Index is not surprising because the government only pays lip service to the fight against corruption. Corruption, he says, has become an attractive and thriving venture.
Our performance on the Corruption Perception Index of Transparency International in the last 7 years has been abysmal. It's been very terrible. But something that is not surprising. And it is not surprising because you reap what you sow. And we are reaping the seeds we have sown relative to the fight against corruption. This is what you get when the government of the day decides to pay lip service to the fight against corruption. The perception of corruption in Ghana today is at an all-time high because the government has decided to make corruption an attractive and thriving venture. It's become a free-for-all venture for government appointees, party functionaries of the ruling, New Patriotic Party. And it involves higher-ups, including the president, the vice president, ministers of state, and so on. Never in the history of this country have we seen such a deliberate promotion of corruption like we have seen in the last 7 years. And that is why we are performing poorly on the CPI. That is why our worst score in the last decade or so has been the score of 40 this government achieved in the year 2017, and the score of 41 they achieved in 2018, which is the second, lowest score we have had in the last decade.
Moving on, President Akufo-Addo has borrowed more money from the international credit market with no work to show for it. These are the words of NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama as he accused the governing NPP of borrowing $13.5 billion in 6 years just for consumption. John Mahama says that money could have done major roads, provided modern health facilities, and expanded other structures. John Mahama was discussing what he says was the state of the country's economy to the chiefs and people of Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. He said Ghanaians must be measured in their expectations due to what he described as mismanagement of the country's fiscal space.
Unfortunately, we're meeting at a time our country is going through very serious economic crisis. And I've always said that this crisis is self-inflicted. It is the result of mismanagement, and let nobody tell you otherwise. President Akufo had started the first entry into the international credit market, which was the Eurobond. He borrowed only $750 million. In the 4 years I was president, with everything that we did and all the developments that you see, we went onto the Eurobond market and borrowed only $3.5 billion. In 6 years of the MPP administration, in the Eurobond market, they went and borrowed $13.5 billion. And my fathers, the tragedy of it is that $13.5 billion would have put an asphalt overlay from Tamale to Paga to halt the deterioration of the highway that goes to Burkina Faso. With $13.5 billion, we would have finished all the work in the Bolgatanga Central Hospital. With $13.5 billion, we would have finished the road from here through Navrongo to Wa. There are so many things that we're yearning for that money could have been applied to. Unfortunately, most of that money went into consumption. Use it and eat chicken and feed fat. And eventually, when your creditors come after you, you have no money to repay the loan. And that's the situation in which we find ourselves. We have declared ourselves bankrupt. Most of the time, they try to attribute it to COVID and to Ukraine-Russia war. But we're not alone in COVID and Ukraine.
In other stories, the Ghana Cocoa Board says it has introduced new policies to enable direct access to cocoa beans by artisanal chocolate makers. According to the head of public relations at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, this eliminates the hurdles by middlemen, thereby increasing the benefit within the cocoa value chain domestically. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the Ghana Chocolate Week celebration in Accra.
It's not about inability to meet the demands of the artisanal chocolate makers. The issue over the years has been with the law as we have it. The law requires that you buy a certain quantity, and the quantity is about 5 tons. And the 5 tons, that is 16 bags multiplied by 5, and that's a lot. So for artisanal chocolate maker, someone who is using the cocoa or the chocolate to do a cake or a bread or ice cream or something, they do not require that much. So it's been a challenge. So they will have to rely on companies that are in the business, the chocolatiers. So there's a trader in between. It adds to cost, and then also how they want it. They do not get the niche products they prefer to have. So what we have done now is to set in place an arrangement that gives them the opportunity to have direct access of the beans and then processes the way they want it. So there's a new arrangement which is being rolled out very soon, and that will permit, for example, artisanal chocolate maker to buy, say, 2 bags of cocoa and use it for the purpose. The person does not require to go through a third party before being able to buy that. All they have to do is to register as artisanal chocolate maker with a cocoa marketing company of Cocoa Board, and they will have access to it. As it stands now, you cannot take cocoa from your own farm and use it for the purpose unless you are just consuming it, but it for commercial purposes, you cannot do so because the law bars you from doing that. But we are trying as much as possible to make it easier. We believe that the youth have an opportunity to benefit from the cocoa value chain. What we seek to do with this whole exercise is to expand the businesses that are created out of cocoa so that we do not limit it only to cocoa farming. Because there are those who say, oh, but the people are making a lot of money out of cocoa. We are just making small amount of money. It is just because we are limited to just after the production of the cocoa, it is exported, and there are no businesses that are created out of it.
Now, the first batch of 7 objects looted in the Third Anglo-Asante War of 1874 has arrived in Ghana on board a United Airlines flight and will permanently be presented to the Asante-Hene Osei Tutu II on Thursday, February 8th. This will be at the commencement Deba, marking the commemoration of 150 years of the war at Jabrim Menchia Palace. A delegation of 3, led by the director of the Fowler Museum of the University of California, Los Angeles, where the objects have been for nearly 60 years, Dr. Sylvia Foni, the Director of Registration and Collections, Dr. Rachel Rayner, the Curator of African Department, Dr. Erica Jones, and an external affiliate to the museum and Chair of the Music Department at the Tufts University, Professor Kwesi Ampini. The returning objects were acquired in 1965 by the museum from one of the major foundations in the world, the Wellcome Trust, which runs the Wellcome Collection of a museum and library in Britain, and is set in a memory of one of British-American leading global art collectors and millionaires of his time, Sir Henry Wellcome. Discussions between the museum and the Menchia Palace had been on for a couple of years, with their senior Africa curator, Dr. Erica Jones, visiting and meeting with the Asantehene last year. Historian Iva Ajimanjia confirmed this development and explained that they are permanently being returned, partly because the legislation that prevented that has changed at the university, which means all looted items could be sent back to the original owners. Let's pause here for a break. When we return, the news continues. Welcome back. You're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, Sweetie Abochi. Moving on, the 2024 edition of the Love FM and Insura FM Health and Fitness Walk has lived up to expectations as hundreds of excited patrons joined the exercise in Kumasi. Individuals, schools, groups and staff of some corporate institutions trooped to the Kumasi Mall for the exercise. My colleague Nana Boache Yadom joined the hundreds of participants and has found this report.
Well, it's the 2024 edition of the Insura FM Love FM Health Walk. Hundreds of listeners of Insura FM and Love FM joined up this year. It's been an amazing walk through all the principal streets of Kumasi. Well, let's hear from some supporters who joined us today.
Oh, I want to tell Insura FM, you are doing the most. In fact, you are so good.
I think it has been great because of them involving the students to be part of the work. I think it is the best. Oh, God bless them for what they are doing. God bless them, and I wish them the best.
So next year, what do you want to see differently from this year?
Actually, anything they can add up to make it very nice.
It has been splendid. Actually, this is part of our Meraki 2024, our Student First edition, and this is actually our first time being here.
So first time, how's the experience been?
It was extraordinary. We are so happy. We are not dehydrated. I mean, we are okay, right?
So guess what? Those of us with no airbags would have to join those with airbags for this Love FM and Insura FM fitness walk. And guess what I have here with me? The DJA journalist of the year, Erastus Asaidoko. Come on now, how has it been?
Yeah, tear fruit so.
What to say? Better than I reduce it.
So far £1.
it's this year, no. Last year, me who said you were in the walk with us. How was it last year, comparing it to this year?
Well, last year it was great. This year, as you can see, the crowd and all that, it has been super, fantastic. And I think more people are beginning to appreciate the fact that we lead a very stressful life. You need to walk, you need to work out, you need to exercise the brain and the entire body. And that's what the Love FM Fitness Walk seeks to do. So people are beginning to appreciate that. And that's how come you see more young people, old and the youngest coming together on this walk.
Do you think we've met our expectations this year?
Yeah, of course we have. We can look at the crowd. It's super. And more people are joining us we walk. And you could see the enthusiasm with which they join and the talk around it. So it's not only exercising the body, but fraternizing, networking, and boosting our morale. That is a super thing to do.
No, from the mall back to the mall, do you think that by the time we get inside the Kumasi City Mall, yours will be like mine?
We'll see, but the fufu will not allow us.
So this is no dance class. It is actually you exercising your body for the few months, few days, few weeks ahead. You know you have to be strong. And that is why Love FM and Insura FM has put together the Fitness Walk. The 2024 edition has been super exciting. Charlie, you got to exercise.
That was a delight to watch. Now, a group of 5 young innovators driven by a common passion for addressing societal challenges have developed a simple, affordable and eco-friendly system to help purify water in the rural communities in Ghana. Research conducted by WaterAid Ghana reveals nearly 4 million Ghanaians do not have access to clean water. StarTech, one of the groups competing in the 2023 Ghana Science and Tech Explorer Challenge Prize, G-STEP, is looking at addressing this with its solar-powered water treatment system. Joy Prime's Justin Amenyeji and Samuel Martins have more in their project in the following report.
Many households, particularly in rural Ghana, continue to suffer from water-related diseases such as cholera, typhoid and dysentery as a result of drinking unsafe water. The group of 5 young visionaries, united by a shared zeal to tackle societal challenges, has creatively crafted a cost-effective and environmentally conscious system. This innovation is designed to assist individuals residing in rural areas in purifying their water, bringing forth a solution that is both accessible and eco-friendly.
In many rural communities in Ghana, per the United Nations, 19,000 people, including 5,100 children under the age of 5, suffer each year from water-related diseases such as cholera, dysentery, and many more. At StarTech, we believe that water comes first in everyday matter. We also believe that if we come together with a shared passion, we can solve this problem together. So we came up with a solar-powered water treatment system.
With easy-to-get equipment such as barrels, a hose, taps, and an improvised solar system.
And it's a wrap for this evening's bulletin. For more stories, log on to myjoyonline.com for all the updates in the latest developments. My name is Sweetie Abochi. Keep watching Joy News.